Well guys, it's my last night in the Veloster N. I thought it'd be interesting to do a video on how does the Veloster N compare to a lot of its competition. The Civic Type-R, the Golf R, the Golf GTI, the Focus ST, the Fiesta ST, all the fun, hot hatchbacks of this day and age, even, you know, even if they're not still being made. I've got a lot of seat time in a lot of different cars, some more than others, but let's go for a little drive and let's talk about where the Veloster N slots in, because it's an interesting discussion, and I think a topic that's on a lot of buyers' minds when they're considering this car, or at least comparing it against other options. Also, one thing we forgot to do in the last video is a sound test, and this Infinity sound system is pretty nice. So we'll do that at the end of the video. Don't know how I forgot my sound test, but I did. Speaking of sound tests, we're in another parking structure. My favorite place in a Veloster N, besides the racetrack. So let's start with probably the most popular and most obvious comparison, the Civic Type-R. I don't have a ton of street miles in a Civic Type-R, but I have enough to kind of get an idea and a feel for what it's like in comparison to this. So I think as far as ride quality goes, the Type-R probably comes out ahead. It's a little bit softer, a little bit better damped overall. You have the advantage of that adjustability in the suspension. You are locked into specific modes though. You know, you're locked into your sport, your race mode. In the Veloster N, you can isolate driving modes, and that's fantastic. That's really, really nice to be able to do, and that's one reason why I really do enjoy driving this car. The Veloster N also, I think, has a little bit less exhaust drone than the Type-R. The Type-R has this tri-exhaust tip with this muffler that's supposedly supposed to reduce drone. It still drones. This Veloster N, you put it in a normal driving mode, it's silent. There's no drone. There's no sound. You really can't beat an exhaust valve, and that's what Hyundai's done here. As far as performance, I think the Type-R is going to have the upper hand. You know, that car, even with light modifications, is an insane performer. It punches way, way above its weight on the track. On the street, you're probably not going to notice the difference. You're not even going to be approaching the limits on those cars. Of course, the Type-R is going to be a little bit more spacious, a little bit bigger, a little bit more practical, probably a little bit of a better daily driver. The Veloster N, you're going to save about $6,000–$7,000. There are some pretty significant differences between the two cars. A lot are obvious on paper, a lot maybe not so obvious. You know, slightly different seats in this Veloster N. Probably not as good as the Type-R's, but these are still great seats. They're comfortable, they have good support, and they really hold you into the corners, and this thing can corner. And then there are also a lot of similarities. You know, this Veloster N, it has these big wheels, these massive 19-inch wheels, and these skinny little sidewalls. You get these massive brakes under that. There's no torque steer, even though this is almost pushing 300 horsepower. Type-R, same situation. I think manufacturers are starting to put these really skinny tires, or at least narrow sidewalls and big wheels on these front-wheel drive hatchbacks. Just it helps reduce torque steer, and I don't really know why. I'd rather have torque steer than bent wheels all the time, and I think that's why you see a lot of people switching them out. So Civic Type-R, you know, I'm not really going to say which is better. I could prefer both at each price point, honestly. They're slightly different cars. This is probably maybe a little bit better of an all-rounder, especially with respect to price. Let's compare it to the Golf GTI. We did this on track at Road America a few months ago. The GTI is a much softer, much more refined hatchback. It's still very capable. The performance envelope on the new GTIs is still quite high. It has that limited slip differential, so you still get that sweet pull out of corners. But this Veloster N, it's a lot more hardcore. It's a lot more, I think it's more fun to drive. You get way better tires, you get way better traction, you get way better performance. But the GTI is, of course, the king of practicality and one car to do it all. I think the GTI is getting a little bit, the Mark 7's a little bit old in the tooth at this point. Still though, it has a very nice premium interior and it still is relevant in the marketplace. Focus ST. Now this is a really interesting comparison because these cars are a little bit more similar than you would think. The Focus ST is maybe a little bit more lively, all right? So you've got a little bit more movement, rotation from the rear end, a little bit of a happier, there's that turning radius, a little bit of a happier chassis than the Veloster N. This is a little bit more buttoned down, and you start to get some rotation from this Veloster N at the limit, at full attack mode on the track. You turn off the stability control systems, you really can pitch this thing in, and you can do a little four-wheel drift in the Veloster N. But the Focus ST, it feels like you're sliding around, just going around a roundabout. It's pretty, it feels like it has a big rear bar on it. It's pretty exciting. Focus RS, you know, it's a more buttoned-down Focus ST with all-wheel drive. Great car, too stiff, guys. It's the ride quality is insane. Fiesta ST, second gen, they improved the suspension, improved the ride quality, fixed the dampers. Really fun car. At one point, that was my favorite front-wheel drive car ever made, and I would say now it's probably between the Fiesta ST, this, and the Civic Type-R. I've got a Civic Type-R coming in a few weeks, so I'm going to be adding more to that discussion here shortly. I think the Veloster N wins the exhaust sound battle pretty much of everything out there. This is just such a well put together performance car. Yeah, it's good. What else is there out there that could be compared to this? You know, there's some cars that we don't get in the US, like the Renault Megane RS. There are a lot of other vehicles, like, you know, maybe you've tuned your Fiat 500, Abarth. The sound is similar to the Fiat 500. Again, though, slightly different class, a little bit less expensive. I don't really want to get into cars that are going to be costing 10 grand less than this. I think an interesting comparison is between this and like a Mustang and Mustang EcoBoost. You have similar levels of power, I think, power to weight, and a much higher envelope of performance in this Veloster N. Again, that might even be a completely different buyer, but the difference in my experience between this and a Mustang EcoBoost is this is just so exciting to drive. And the Mustang EcoBoost is fun, but I only found it engaging and interesting, driven at the limit, whereas this is fun to drive all the time. Even when you're not hustling it, even when you're just driving around town, you can still get that occasional pop and burble and bang from the exhaust. and coming off throttle, you get a little bit of that throaty overrun from the fuel being let out through the exhaust, and it's fun, it's exciting, it's satisfying. The shifter is really tight. It's a really, really nice car. So, more fun to drive than a Mustang EcoBoost, I would argue. More feedback, more feel, more visceral of an experience. What about a Miata? Miatas are about the same price as this, maybe a little bit more expensive depending on what you get. You want a fun car to drive, something you can track, something you can take out and push its performance envelope. That's a tough one. The new Miata is phenomenal. It's super fun. Ultimately, this is going to be quicker. But Miata, you have top-down thrills. That's a tough decision. I mean, obviously, this is going to be way, way, way more practical than the Miata, and the new Miata just isn't practical at all. So that's the difference. New Miata is probably a little bit more fun to drive, but just barely, just because it's a Miata and it's rear-wheel drive, and you can pretty much slide it everywhere. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good list. I think that's a pretty good comparison. You know, the Veloster N it's not going to win every battle and win every comparison, but it's such a sweet, sweet spot of performance and practicality and engineering, and it's a good size. Yeah, I think if you want a good, comfortable daily driver that you're not going to be flogging, this is a car that can be flogged and enjoyed and really pushed hard. Look at the way it pulls out of a corner in first gear. It hooks up. It's insane. I can't believe the grip that this thing has out of a dig. Yeah, really impressive. If you want a good daily driver, go get a Honda Accord. But if you want something that you can daily drive and take to the racetrack, this is honestly one of the best cars out of the factory that has that capability and that performance envelope and heat management, all the things. This Veloster N checks a lot of boxes. So I think that's going to sum it up for me this week. Let's go into Apple CarPlay and music and do a sound test. For some reason, I don't know why, Apple CarPlay just starts playing music when I plug it in and start up the car. It's a little bit of a bug, kind of annoying because I'm always turning my radio off, but it's always playing random songs, so a little bit of an annoyance there. And then it'll like skip 8 songs. This might be in my phone too. It was doing it last week in a Lexus. Let's see if we can get to my playlist, sound test. There we go. Easy. Like I said earlier, great sound system. Super clear, strong bass, strong tones. Really nice speakers in here. Alright guys, well that gives you a little bit of an idea. Not too shabby. Oh! One other car, Civic Si. I haven't spent much time in a Civic Si, just on track, just at Road America. Civic Si has probably got a slightly more engaging shifter. Honda shifters, they make them pretty sweet. But otherwise, it's not really much of a comparison. This is such a higher performer overall. I think if you're comparing the two and you really want performance, go for the Veloster N. If you're comparing the two and you want a good daily driver, the Civic Si might be a little bit of a better option. But then again, I don't know. For some reason, I never really warmed up to the Si. The rev hang is kind of an issue for me. The turbocharged engine is kind of an issue for me. It doesn't really have a lot of character. And yeah, anyway, just my opinions, guys. But yeah, what an amazing package this Veloster N is. It's not perfect. No car's perfect. But for the price, this is pretty darn close. Alright guys, we'll park this last drive in this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying tuned to all these videos. We will see you guys soon. Got an LC500 coming in this week. That'll be fun. And I'm doing a track day today in the BRZ. One more pop, just wishing the Veloster N goodbye. It's like fireworks on 4th of July. I love it. Yes. As Jeremy Clarkson would say, yes. Alright guys, that's it. We'll see you later. Drive safe. Bye.